Hello YouTubers, it's me back again with a new video today, and it's been a while since I last did a video, a couple of weeks. Today in the UK the temperatures have been extremely hot, so there's been no trains running on the railway. I've not had the railway out. It's in storage. It's been in storage for the last couple of weeks because the temperatures weekend wise and throughout the week have been absolutely horrendously hot. So it's not about the layout won't be safe in the heat, because I've got obviously fans in this room as you can hear, but it's just physically too much to set things up and lift baseboards about, and just set up in this weather is too much. Anyway, here's the announcement. There is a box that says fragile. What is in here, I wonder? Well, finally, after over a year's wait, this inside this box contains two ACCURASCALE Buckjumpers, the Great Eastern Tank Engines. They're in here waiting to come out. I spoke to Rails of Sheffield this morning and I made a payment, and they are going to be shipping my third Buckjumper by Tuesday next week, hopefully. But anyway, let's just get these out of the box, shall we? And this is the first time I've actually unboxed these. As you can see, I've not even opened these for a couple of hours. Got a bit busy and I thought, well, it's a bit cooler this evening. Little temperature's gone down a little bit. I've had some grub, so I think, you know what, we'll unbox these Buckjumpers. And anyway, before I go any further, thank you very much for liking and subscribing if this is your first time here. And I know there's loads of videos up on YouTube as I speak of these, but hopefully you'll like my review. Anyway, stay tuned and I'll be back in a mo. So, first up, out of the packaging, the first thing that strikes me about these models is how well they are packaged. And the actual, this one is the Liverpool Street Pilot, which is a very unique model, and this one's in the Lake Crest BR Black. But this one is really nice, and we're going to get these out of the box in a minute, by the way. But I'm just really overly impressed for the packaging. I mean, there was loads of packaging to support it, so it wasn't wobbling around. And these boxes alone, wow, look at, that's almost a shoe box. So these are extremely well packaged, and there's a lot of bits and pieces in here as well. I've got a funny feeling there's lots of accessories you can put on, and these are very, very fragile models, but we're going to get them out in a bit. Wow. Okay, so upon opening the lid of the Liverpool Street Pilot J69 tank engine, the box is really nice artwork on the front there, a nice finish on there with the general printing. But look at this is quite nice, isn't it? It's got the original jazz service. This is the original sort of poster of the day, when it would have been on the what we call the jazz services between London, Liverpool Street, and sort of around Bethnal Green and Chinkford, Enfield Town, and all around the West Anglia route, where I used to actually work on the West Anglia route. And this is lovely. Look at this. Look, some nice artwork. Wow. And look at this, a little bit of history. Now normally that's nice, because on the side of most model boxes these days, like the Bachmann models and the Hornby models, you normally get on the side of the box or underneath, it will tell you a little bit of history with a photograph of the model. And ACCURASCALE have gone one further. They've produced this little booklet, which is quite lengthy and very informative, with a map inside of its territory. I love that. So it tells you about how the Buckjumper was actually born, its territory, what it was capable of. There's some nice pictures in here. Look at that. Oh wow, that's superb. What a great little package. Oh, that's really nice. I'm loving that. Yeah, that is a really nice little, oh look at that, look, it's telling the ones that you can get in their range, but I've got 3 out of most of them. That's a nice little book. That's nicely done. Yeah, impressed with that. Oh, look, we got a nice photo, and it says, what do we got? Operating and caring for your ACCURASCALE model. Okay, that's the instructions and the manual you need for it. So let's put that to one side. Oh, this is for DCC. I'm not going to need this. But if this was fitted with sound, this is the key telephone directory, if you like, of the different functions that on your DCC controller you press and it makes all the different noises, and sadly I don't have that, but it doesn't matter. That's nice. Here we go. Oh wow. Signed by all the ACCURASCALE team. Look at that. That's nice, isn't it? And this is a really exclusive model, this one. That's nice. Here we go. What's inside? Oh wow. Here we go. What's this? I love that. You must read the instructions on the reverse of this car before operating your model. I love this. Got the old style overhead line flash, what you used to see on the top of, on the side of locos and everything back in the day. That's nice. That's a nice little Stratford touch, that is. Oh, look at that. Okay. Yeah, well, that's basically saying, having a quick glance at this bit of instruction there, it's just saying basically if you've got an older controller like an H&M Duet or a Clipper, really sort of 1970s DC controllers, they're not advised to be used with this because it's a very fine scale model. Luckily I've got a Gagemaster DS twin track simulator, so that's no problem. But what have we got in here? Oh look, oh there she is. Oh look at that. Isn't she lovely? Right, I'm going to pause this, folks, and get her out of the box. Right, here she is out the box. Oh, look at that. Isn't that a thing of beauty? Oh, wow. That is just a lovely, lovely little buck jumper. And that's the Liverpool Street Pilot. I love that. So let's start from the front then, shall we? So obviously I've just took it out of the box. Straight away I noticed that the vacuum pipes in the front are already pre-fitted. It's got a NEM pocket coupling on the front, which I think you can take off quite easily to interchange it with KD couplings or L couplings of your choice. But I'm noticing all this detail here. The separately fitted smoke box door hinge, the dart, and of course more importantly on the front, right underneath the smoke box door dart, the locking handles there, you can see a shed plate. And what does it say? 30A Stratford. Oh, that's beautiful. Wow, look at that. It's also got sprung buffers, which is nice. And it's got that traditional Eastern region numbering on the smoke box door number, 68619. There's a blanking plate that on the front there, and there's basically, which I think is a nice touch, I'll show you in a minute, you get, actually, look, I'll show you it now. Look, inside, they not only give you all the different name balls, they actually give you a specialised tool to actually apply it with. So you ain't got to go through your toolbox and get a pair of tweezers or a cocktail stick or something like that. They actually give you a specialised tool for anything you need to fit on this thing. That is impressive. You can see why these are not exactly cheap. Look at the rivet detail there on the front of the boiler. That's beautiful. And that lovely typical Eastern region chimney. If I just turn it round like that. That's a lovely thing, isn't it? Look at the detail on that. If we come underneath the running plate level, we can see that everything on there is very correct. That's lovely. The paintwork on here is very, very crisp. This is a very, very high standard. This actually, I think, is much better than Hornby's and Bachmann's offering. This really blows it out of the park, this thing. So far, I'm just completely won over. I mean, look at the detail on this thing. I'll bring the camera in. Look at this, look. That is so beautiful. and it should open. Is it open? I don't know. That might open on the top. I think it does. Yeah, it does. I'm just gonna not scratch that, but I'm obviously using a wooden skewer. But yeah, that does open if you want to open it. But look at that. That is just really lovely. They've got the wheels even right on there, and the correct colours around the wheels. They've got the brake rigging underneath, the brake shoes, the hangers. Everything on there is just absolutely exquisite. Route availability on there is 3. And it's got the lovely Eastern region crest on the side there. Let's look at the footplate. Oh wow. Oh, that's impressive. That is that's another level of modelling, isn't it? Look at that. That is a really lovely thing, is it not? Very nice. I like that. And looking at the top shot there, again, you've got all this separately fitted pipe work around here, the pumps. And then if I carefully spin around, so we have a look at it from this side, really, really nice. Just happening to look at these. Yeah. These seem a little bit flexible. That should be a bit straight, maybe. A bit more like that, but I'm not going to overly do it because these things are so fragile. But yeah, I think that will do lovely. Looking at this side, there's more detail over here to look at, if we look at it from there. I love those circular windows on the fireman and driver's side there. Really, really lovely. And if we, oh, and there we are, that's what I love. The famous Westinghouse pumps on the side there, which are these things here. Those are Westinghouse air pumps. And they had a very, very unique sound. These J69 little Buckjumpers. When this thing was sitting at Liverpool Street as the pilot waiting its next turn of duty, it would like psh, pow, psh, pow, psh, pow, psh, pow. That's what it used to sound like when it was stationary. Really, really lovely little bit of detail there. And I'm sure all the Stratford men that are still alive with us today will definitely want one of these on their shelf or on their railway. And my late supervisor, Gordon Scrivener, would have loved this. It's a lovely little thing, isn't it? Really handsome little tank engine. Let's look underneath. Let's see what we have. It's actually very, very heavy because it's die cast. And if I just turn her underneath and what we got, let's have a look. Well, some detail underneath there, obviously. Beautiful. That is a lovely little machine, that is. Something that's very cool about this tank engine, that it's got, on purpose, because they didn't want to overly mess up all the detail that's been put into this, they've left the option of the bunker when you buy it, like this one. All the J69 Buckjumpers that have been released all come with the same feature, in that the bunker, the rear bunker here, is coalless. It's got no coal in it for a reason. That's because it's left you the option of adding how much or how little of real coal in the bunker, which I'm going to be doing. So I've got some real coal crushed up into 4mm scale size, and I'm going to add that. So you can add it as little or as much as you want to. Obviously, in my choice, I'm going to fill it up. But yeah, that's a lovely little thing, that is. And the other thing as well, I mean, you could actually, looking at that, the way it's moulded, hang on, I'll zoom out a little bit. Yeah, if we look at the bunker there, the way that's moulded, you could actually get a piece of plastic card or such like material and just cut it very finely to the dimensions of that rear bunker. If you didn't want to fill the whole thing up with real coal, you could just do like a little top layer, so it's obviously on the top, it's visible. But what you want is it just come into the slightly over, not over the top, but just under the lip of that bunker, so that gives it the right appearance. In real life, these things were quite liberally coaled up at Stratford, or on the route availability for all the coaling and water stations along the route of the Great Eastern on its territory, on its patch. There would have been loads and loads of coaling and water facilities everywhere, like everywhere else in steam days. But this is absolutely a stunning little beast. What a lovely engine. And I'm looking forward to getting this running on the railway in the next video. So that is my little J69 Liverpool Street Pilot buck jumper. Look at that. I've been waiting absolute decades for this thing to come out, and a lot of modelers out there have been waiting equally longer for this thing, because the only available buck jumper you could get back in the day was like a kit form. You had to sit and build it yourself and then fit it all together and then paint it. But this surpasses everything. And from what I've seen on ACCURASCALE's social media feeds with videos, these things are immensely powerful. Don't be underestimated by its little size. It is an absolute powerhouse. I think it's because of the gearing ratio, the motor, the pickups, but also the die-cast chassis arrangement. It's really a very, very powerful little puller. So we shall see in our next running video. But yeah, what a lovely little machine, eh? Look at that. Wow. And in the background there you can see is the Cockney Sparrow Stratford shed. And there is my London Liverpool Street Pilot, the J69 buck jumper. Wow, that is a cracking engine. These rate out in the UK £139.99. They're all completely sold out at the moment on ACCURASCALE's website and most of the major modelling companies. There's probably one or two out there. I mean, if you went to the bespoke model railway shops, they might have maybe one or two out there, but most of them are sold out already. You might be lucky to find the odd model shop that does them, but anyway, these things are absolutely stunning. Oh wow, I've waited well over a year for this, as you know, and I think it's just definitely worth the wait. So this thing will require a very light lube and running in, so I'll take care of that before the next running video, and we'll get everything running up and looked at. But in the meantime, I'll stop this and we'll look at box number 2. Okay, so moving on to buck jumper number 2. This isn't a J69 buck jumper, this is actually a J68, and it's a slight variation. It's actually a J67, J69, but it's actually this is a Hill J68, whereas the other buck jumper was done by a guy called Charles Holden, big engineer on the Great Eastern. So Holden was responsible for the J67 and J69s, and the Hill was the J68. So again, a nice little booklet giving you all the information and gumph about buck jumpers in general, how they were born, as mentioned before. Some nice shots of it on the GE as well. That's quite nice, isn't it? The old jazz service. I love that. And on the back there you've got a retro print of a little bit of Norwich with the windmill and the boat in the background there. On the right hand side you've got a cathedral there. It's quite like Liverpool Street Station. It's not, it's actually, I think it might be Ely Cathedral possibly, but anyway, a nice little bit of Art Deco work there. Love that. And again, a nice little photograph there, operating instructions of your buck jumper, and again the same old DCC thing. And we'll remove this here. There's our little flash card, and there's our beauty inside. Look at that one. We'll get this one out and we'll have another look at this one, or a look at this particular one. Okay, so this is the J68 Hill buck jumper, and this is the true, to me in my opinion, this is the true Stratford machine. This one here, 68646. This is the buck jumper I've been after. I've been after the one that I just showed you there, the Liverpool Street Pilot, which is quite a rare one, and the one that I'm getting on Tuesday from Rails of Sheffield, which is an ACCURASCALE model. I just ordered it through Rails. It's the one in ultramarine Great Eastern blue, which is going to be really a popping eye glittering model. We'll have a look at that next week, but in the meantime, look at this beautiful beastie here. Now this is absolutely a stunning buck jumper. Look at this. It's all in black, this one, and it's in lake crest, with the lake crest on the side there. That's lovely. Again, very crisp decals and paintwork. Everything on this is absolutely stunning. Look at that top detail there, the top tank feed, the Westinghouse pipes, the air pipes, the water feed condensers, and the pipework on top in general is just absolutely stunning. They haven't really missed anything out. They've really studied the photographs of these things, and that's why it took such a long time, I think, to produce these models and get them right. You'll notice the variant of the cab windows for the driver and fireman there. They're the more squarish type windows compared to the elliptical round ones. They really are lovely, and this is how I've always remembered Buckjumpers, from seeing them in the books that I've got on my library shelf and seeing photographs of them at Stratford. This is truly a Stratford beastie. This is lovely. Look at that with that funnel there. That is just absolutely a very, very beautiful finished funnel as well. That really characterises these models. Again, it's the same as the Eastern Region, the Liverpool Street Pilot that we just looked at. Exactly the same model, but in a different colour, but obviously different in variations. The windows being one, the cab windows for the driver and fireman, but also there's a few minor details on these, on the Hill version. But this is absolutely, again, a lovely machine. Look at that. So all the vacuum pipes are fitted on the front there. Everything is there. That looks good. I'm looking for anything that untoward, and that to me looks like it's all there. You do get, again, a separately fitted little pack of name boards and the special tool for applying it. How thoughtful. And yeah, it's a lovely machine. Look at that. A very, very lovely machine. Carefully spinning it round to there. That's lovely. Again, spinning it round to here. We'll look at that side. You can see in the cab there, there's quite a lot of detail to look at and please the eye. We just need to put a little Stratford Loco crew in there, don't we? Again, with the Westinghouse pumps on the side there, on the fireman side. It's got the overhead line flashes, which denotes this engine would have been working around the wires in about 1958, 59 around Stratford and Shenfield, and then the different branches of the Eastern Region's little suburban services, particularly down to Enfield Town and Chinkford, Hertford, where else? Mine's gone blank. I should know these things. I used to work on the Blinking region. Enfield Town, Chinkford. Let's see now. Down to Hertford, Hertford East, St Margaret's, all around there. But these would have been around the suburban services, definitely, and also obviously down towards Gidea Park, from out the street down towards Southend or Gidea Park, Shenfield. But you would have found these mostly on the little suburban services, the local lines served by the Great Eastern Railway back in the days of steam. Again, some nice detail on the back. Let's cover the back, shall we? Looking at that as my lighting today in my bedroom picks up that beautiful moulded detail there. All separately fitted items there as well, from the lamp iron brackets to the bits and pieces accommodator on the back there for the name boards. That's where the rear bunker name board would go. That would go on there where the rear name plate would fit. Sprung buffers, everything on there, as you can see, very delightful. Again, an empty bunker for you to fill as much or as less coal in there as you want to. And the cab roof comes off to reveal this. Look at that. You'll get the same on every single Buckjumper. So the Liverpool Street Pilot that we just saw will do the same thing. But this actually reveals the amount of detail that's gone into this cab. Look at this. That is why these things are quite pricey. That's beautiful. You can almost even see there's water in the gauge glass there. That's a lovely thing, isn't it? Wow. I'm not even going to attempt to touch any of those controls because they look so fine. That is absolutely a stunning, stunning machine. Oh, wow. And just out of interest for you guys, whether these run on DCC or DC analog, I'll be running on DC analog. They do have a feature which is a flickering firebox on all their Buckjumper models from ACCURASCALE. So the firebox will flicker. A lovely little touch. And also, I love the fact that cab roof just comes off like that. So obviously, if you're having one of these models on a display stand in a cabinet to look at as a static model, it's nice to have that option of taking the roof off so you can sit and look inside. Also, more importantly, it's great for placing your loco crew in there without no bother or fuss whatsoever. You can just glue that all in there. A very, very tiny hairline of super glue will sort that jobby out, no problem. And you can bosh the crew in there and quite happily. I love that. What a fantastic little model. Wow. If we just pop the roof back on, if you look underneath, oh, that's nice. Oh, holy smokes. Do you see what I see? Do you see those 4 tabs? Do you know what they are? They're magnets. So you can quite simply clip that on like that. It's a magnetic thing. I love that. And that's a standard feature with all these Buckjumpers. They've got magnetic cab roofs, so you can lift them on and off for maintenance, adding your crew, and also just overall inspection, and you can actually have the option of taking it off on display. But what a lovely model. Again, underneath, I'll carefully just bring her over. Lovely little scale wheels. Look at those wheels. They are beautiful. Oh, wow. That's something else. And they're all quartered correctly. The brake rigging is on there. Everything underneath. That's a cracking little model, isn't it? That is, without a doubt, going to rank very, very high in my collection. It's like, I thought at the time the highest or actually bespoke model I actually owned in terms of model railway 00 scale locos was by stuff like Helgen and things like that, but this blows it out of the water. ACCURASCALE has impressed me greatly, and I think if it runs as good as what I've seen on the social media videos of ACCURASCALE's reviews of these from people, if they really are going to live up to that reputation, I think we are going to be having some very nice videos for you folks at home next week when I do the video. Like I said, I've got one more in the post of these to come on Tuesday from Rails of Sheffield. It's the one in ultramarine Great Eastern Blue, and that's really going to be the icing on the cake. So I'm looking forward to doing that video. In the meantime, folks, thank you so much today for checking out my little unboxing of these beauties, the J68 Hill Buckjumper and the J69 Holden Buckjumper. Both beautiful machines. These would have been at Stratford and around the Eastern region about the time my great uncle Percy Mould, who was a fitter at Stratford Depot in the days of steam. He started out on the LNER about 1937, I think, and he died on duty at work in 1961. He came to work, he was in the locker room, he bent down to put his work boots on to tie them up, and he had a heart attack and died on the spot. But yeah, that was my great uncle Percy, and he would have been about maintaining these things, and I think if he was with us today, he would absolutely love these little things. The old Buckjumpers, look at that. So where would we have seen these particular tank engines work? Well, as mentioned, you would have seen them on the branches out of Liverpool Street down towards Enfield Town and Chinkford, but you most definitely would have seen them on the North Woolwich and Palace Gates branch, the long since closed Palace Gates branch from from Stratford all the way round to Palace Gates via Seven Sisters, and long since gone. But it was a very, very quirky little branch worked by these lovely little tank engines. They've got great character. You can just imagine these things static or in use, and they were very full of character, and you can see that in their design. What a lovely thing. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me today on the video. Very, very happy with my little Eastern Region Buckjumpers, and stay tuned for the next video next week, when we'll be unboxing the third and final of these ACCURASCALE Buckjumpers. So until then, thank you very much for watching, and take care and stay safe. All the best now. Bye bye.